Here are three rules that I came up with for 2026 for myself. I know that it's March, but it's the third month, and I came up with three rules. So I'm hoping to do these through the rest of the year. I'm keeping them simple. I think that these will help me, and I'm sure that they will help you as well. So if you want to follow along, go for it. But the first rule is I told myself to stop sacrificing my health. Health is something that obviously requires consistent focus, and especially when you're at a point that you have to lose a lot of weight or gain a lot of muscle, you can't be inconsistent. There has to be a consistent build over a long period of time before you get to a point where you can miss a day or anything like that. Um, if in the sense that if somebody has a lot of muscle or they have a decent frame or a decent build, that's somebody who might skip a workout and be fine. There's someone who might eat over their calories or their macros and they would still be fine. It won't be a detrimental effect to their physique or their health. But somebody who is climbing that hill cannot take any days off, because if they do start to make one sacrifice, it becomes easier to make two or three. If they eat the wrong thing or if they have a day where they just overeat, they will set themselves back more than they've made progress, or a significant chunk, and then they'll feel rejected and not rejected, but they'll feel discouraged, and excuse me, they will it'll be that much harder for them to keep going down the path or keep climbing up that hill of getting to their goal physique. So stop sacrificing your health. Um, it can't be sacrificed for anything. It requires consistent daily effort, and there's no days off. And no matter what happens, no matter how stressed you are or how frustrated you are, you cannot let your health become the sacrifice. You can't seek instant gratification through food and drink, because all that really does is kind of create a false escape from the pain. And if you keep sacrificing your health, you'll realize that if you don't have your health, you don't really have anything. So that's rule number one. Rule number two is to stop putting the first thing last. And what I mean by that is I often will have things in mind that I want to do, something I want to build or work on, and I will wait. I'll have this feeling that I need to handle a bunch of other things in terms of maintenance things or general upkeep in my life before I can work on whatever the big thing is. And if I keep doing that, it doesn't get done. So the first thing, the main thing that I want to do is the first thing, but we always put a lot of times we put the first thing last, and we think, well, once everything else is done or once these other things are done, then I'll be able to sit down and handle it and work on the big thing. But later on in the day, you're tired, you have less energy, you're exhausted, whatever it is, and you just don't have the mental energy to work through the thing that you want to work on, and you're not presenting your best self because you're start doing it, it's at the end of the day. So the first thing literally becomes the last thing, which doesn't make any sense. So the second rule is to stop putting the first thing last. And the last rule is to spend less and invest more and have no debt. Now, when I say debt, I'm talking consumer debt, credit cards, loans. I guess you could throw a car payment in there, whatever it is. But generally, the most important rule before you even get to knocking out debt or investing is to spend less, because we overspend. I think the vast majority of people overspend. I know that I've overspent, and this is a pretty self-explanatory thing, but it's kind of like filling your day with different habits. If you have a habit you're trying to break, you don't just stop it in a vacuum. You have to replace it with a better habit. So when it comes to finances, you can't you can just spend less and you can just leave it in a savings account, but that money realistically should go somewhere else. It should go into an investment of some kind. It should go into an account that you don't have as much access to, and it should go somewhere where it can grow, because that's the great thing about money. If you put it in the right places, it grows on its own. And the best, and I mean, not the best, but I think the easiest way to do that is to put the money into some kind of an investment. And it's never been easier to invest. And as you spend less, you will get into the habit as you build the habit of spending less, you will naturally just be less likely to spend on credit cards. And as you get into the habit of investing more, it'll become easier to see the money grow, and you'll have that money available, or you'll have more money available to knock out the debts that you have. So spending less has that trickle effect across the board. It also builds confidence that every time you are out and you want to spend and you don't, you will build confidence and self trust that you can go out, you can control your spending, you scrutinize your spending decisions before you make them. So, those are my 3 rules for myself. I hope that if you follow them, they help you as well. I hope that if this resonates with you, that you give it a go. Follow whichever ones you want, all 3 or just one of them or none of them. But those are the rules I'm giving myself on March 4th of 2026. So don't sacrifice your health for anything. Stop putting the first thing last, and spend less, invest more, and don't hold any debt. Hope that helps.